and welcome to another episode of Manager's Corner, where we remind you that your local Hopkinton government is here to serve you. I'm Chris McClure, IT Director for the town of Hopkinton, and your host. As always, I remind you to visit our website, hopkintonma.gov. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, on Facebook. You can even see the Manager's Corners and other video on our YouTube channel. We have an exciting new tool called Mind Mixer, where citizens can get engaged and talk to each other and talk to stakeholders about different projects in town. We're actually using it to gear up for the new master planning process that's happening right now, and we would love to hear from you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about this show or questions about general government, make sure to reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you. So on today's show, we have Don McAdam, who is the Conservation Administrator. So welcome, Don. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about what the Conservation Agent does for the town of Hopkinton.
A lot of my time is I'm a liaison for the Conservation Commission. Mm-hmm. They're a volunteer board of 7 members appointed by the Board of Selectmen. And obviously they meet about once every 2 weeks. So I get to be the face. So if people have issues that they need to bring, I'm a full-time employee for the town. So mm-hmm. I can help address their issues in regards to the State Wetlands Protection Act and the town's Hopkinton Wetlands Protection Bylaw.
Yeah. So what does the Conservation Administrator do? Like, what's the function of the conservation?
It's multifold. It's indoors, outdoors. So a lot of my indoor activity is I'm helping manage all the business activities that the commission does, where we've got applicants coming in looking for permits, the commission making determinations, processing all that public information that needs to be done. All the information that we generate is public records. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of interface with the public. We have a lot of people emailing, telephone, walk-ins. I'm dealing with people who are looking to purchase homes that are near wetlands. I'm dealing with their real estate agents, their attorneys. I'm dealing with contractors, the environmental consultants, the engineers, the wetland scientists that are employed by the applicants, and so a lot of that is the indoor activity, and then it's getting out in the field and monitoring, looking at the site before it gets developed, assessing the natural resources on the site in cooperation with the applicant, and then when they get permits to do development, we're monitoring the progress, and then we're going back out when the job's done for issuing their certificate of compliance.
So walk me through a couple of scenarios, because from what I understand, there's scenarios where you might deal with a homeowner looking to maybe do some work or buy a home or build a home.
Yeah.
You might be dealing with developers or contractors doing sort of larger scale developments or projects, and then I think you also serve kind of an oversight role, making sure that we're in compliance with wetlands, or we're in compliance with other sort of conservation goals of the town. So let's talk first about, I'll put myself in the shoes of a homeowner.
Yeah.
And what would be a typical project that let's say a homeowner would be looking to do that would involve your office? And
yeah, I mean, I can just think of one recently. We had a gentleman come to us. He's got an older home in Hopkinton, and he wanted to build a wood shop on the off his garage. And he kind of had a unique situation. On one side, he had an intermittent stream with wetlands next to it, and in the rear of his property, he's got a vernal pool. So he was trying to get and each way he went, he was either, if he went off the back, he'd be going into the vernal pool buffer zone. If he went off the side, he was going into the buffer zone of the stream and the wetlands. And he knew he had wetlands on the property, but he just bought the home. He didn't build it, So he didn't really understand the laws at all. So he just contacted me, and I just sort of tried to give him gave him access to the mm-hmm. website. Said, yeah, look for here for the state wetlands law. Look for here for the town's bylaw. Gave him a lot of paper information
mm-hmm.
too to take home.
Yeah.
And so then he could read it over, and then the process starts, because a lot of it's written by the state. It's like trying to do taxes.
Right.
So a lot of it is like, what do they mean by here? And the language is just nomenclature they've never heard before. So a lot of it is trying to educate them on the different levels that are inherent to a law. And so then he got a better understanding of what he needed to do, and then he was able to adjust what he wanted to do to present to the Conservation Commission for them to make a determination on getting his project done.
Right. Yeah, I know sometimes if you're on the other end, it can feel frustrating, or like some of these things are just put in place to be barriers to what people want to do. But maybe talk a little bit about, what is wetlands? What is a vernal pool? Why are they important? Why are we concerned about?
Right, exactly. Back in the 70s, if you remember the Clean Water and the Clean Air Act, basically the Clean Water has benefits to the public in general. So if you degrade, alter, or to destroy them, the public is losing that. So you've got wetlands provide protection for groundwater, private water, pollution prevention. You've got protection of wildlife. You even got, we don't have much of it in here, but shellfish. So you've got coastal areas. So the wetlands have public values. So if in your ability to develop your own property, if you're going to have a negative impact on the wetlands, you're negatively impacting the public. So hopefully the wetland laws are there so you can develop your property in a sustainable manner that's not going to have a negative impact on your neighbors.
Does the Conservation Committee take an interest in helping maintain open space and dealing with some of the parks and the water sources?
Yeah, I mean, I think the town has over 1,000 acres of land. The commission actually is, it's town-owned land, but the commission is the manager of that land, and the commission manages about 450 acres, so about, roughly about a third of the town's open space. And so we're stewards of the land.
I know one of the balances in towns, especially now, is maintaining that open space, balance versus the interest of new development, and maintaining the nature of the town and making sure we have those green spaces while allowing some kind of reasonable growth.
And you'll see a lot of, and you can interact with the planning board on this. They have different types of development that are open for people. And one of them is an open space development where you're trying to cluster the development into a tighter package and leaving the outer remaining area as open space. So I know a lot of developers have opted that option. I know it's very welcome here in town.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some of the wildlife that exists in Hopkinton?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. There was I heard a report that there was actually a cougar in town. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that.
I didn't hear that.
You can check with I think the animal control officer got reports of that. So I'm not going to say it is or not, but I mean, we've got the typical wildlife. We've got coyotes. We've got beavers. We've got lots of bird life. Your typical mammals.
Yeah. So. Yeah. What are some of the? I know one of the big concerns with the wetlands is it provides a habitat. Like the spotted salamander.
Amphibians, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are there?
Yeah, there's actually some rare. We've got for insects. We've got the ringed bog hunter that is in town.
What's the ringed bog hunter?
Yeah, it's a dragonfly that likes. Wet areas, open wet areas, and we've got plenty of wet areas in town. So there is a section in town that it's an endangered species, and we also have blue spotted salamanders, an endangered species. The spotted turtle used to be listed, but it got delisted. So we've got spotted turtles in town.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I'm always interested in, and I can put this challenge out to people watching, is if people have any good photos or any good wildlife pictures or just kind of outdoor pictures of Hopkinton, we would certainly love to see those and make those available. Well, let's change direction a little bit and talk about your experience directly. Just talk first. What sort of brought you to this field? What excites you about conservation and then the kind of work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, I get a chance to do indoor-outdoor work. I mean, I think it started going back when I was a Boy Scout. I just loved being in the outdoors, and then when I finished my Bachelor of Science degree, I went into grad school to become a teacher, pursuing a teaching certificate, and first job I got out was working with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They ran an outbound program for adjudicated use on the Cape.
Oh, okay.
And so there it was like I was coming from doing a lot of camping, canoeing, hiking, backpacking, rock climbing. So I was coming from that end, and but being out there, the kids we were there with the kids for a month, and a lot of them were asking, well, what kind of tree is that? What kind of shrub is that? And I was just like, I didn't have that background. So then I was sort of self-teaching myself, and then I decided to go back to grad school, and I pursued a degree in environmental science.
Okay.
And I ended up here.
Yeah. And how long have you been with Hopkinton?
I've been here for 13 years now.
13 years, wow.
Yeah.
All right. And you're from Massachusetts originally?
Yep, I'm from Massachusetts.
What part?
Canton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yep. So I moved back. I graduated high school there, and after high school, I out doing all pursuing where I got to here, and I went back to Canton in 1996.
Okay. All right. So do you enjoy outdoor activities?
Yeah.
Just personally?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just last weekend went up. I've got a kayak, so me and my wife went up to the. I used to work for Boston University up at Sargent Camp, and they got two rivers going through their property, the Newmanooset and the Dinsmore. So I got out in the Dinsmore, and then me and my wife's brothers went out to Monadnock. We hiked Monadnock. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, yeah.
Great vistas up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any spots in Hopkinton that people may not be aware of that would, they could take their family or,
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's lots of open space. The state owns Whitehall Reservation. There's trails all around the lake. They got the Hopkinton Reservoir property, and what was interesting is there's a great. I don't know if people know this. At the town, the Conservation Commission manages the College Rock property, and there's an open granite face that a lot of rock climbers. REI comes out. They interact with us to hold rock climbing classes.
Okay.
Out there, yeah, and actually we had a film company. It was I think it was a group from Emerson College wanted to do a kind of a movie, and they asked to come out and use the facility too. I mean the site. So
right. So people can do canoeing, rock climbing, fishing,
exactly,
hiking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And if you visit our website at hopkintonma.gov, on the visitor section, we actually have some maps and links to the different state parks and resources and open space. And if you're curious about the rock climbing, you can get in touch with Don.
Yep, and I'll direct you to REI.
Yeah,
yep.
And we can get you some more information on that. Let's talk a little bit about just some of the day-to-day functions and tasks. Conservation is now part of the bigger land use.
Yep, Department of Land Use, Permitting, and Planning.
And that was kind of an organizational change within the last 5 or so years that they kind of did some consolidation.
Yeah, I think I think we really came together, I think sometime around 2010, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, and you were obviously here.
Yes, yeah.
Can you talk a little about what the structure was before that and what some of the motivation for the change was and sort of how it looks now and what the benefit?
Yeah, I think just let me take it from like the customer's perspective.
Yeah.
Just Town Hall has 3 levels. When I was with the conservation singly before Lupgeld, we were on the first floor, and then some of the other departments you had building and Board of Health up on the 3rd floor. You had planning on the 2nd floor. Zoning was up on the 3rd floor. So, anyone who wanted to come in and had multiple permits, they'd be, okay, I got to go to the 1st floor for this, I got to go to the 2nd floor for this, I got to go to the 3rd floor for this. So what was nice was they redeveloped the top floor, so we're all right there, and it just has aided communication and just the ability for us to function more as a cohesive unit for the applicant who might be using the different departments. I think was a benefit to the town.
Yeah. Now I know you brought in a few things to kind of show people that you do on a daily basis.
You asked me, so yeah. So basically, if I'm out in the field, I go to people's private property a lot through invitation through them. Usually I deed with my conservation badge. I've got a Town of Hopkinton jacket. If I'm out on a busy job site, got to use the colors. I'm using my tape measure a lot for trying to figure out, distances that if they're within our jurisdiction or not. Obviously, my notebook, my camera. If I'm trying to point out some wetlands that might not have been looked at, I can flag them for the property owner. Obviously, we always use reference guides. I've got my soils field guide. I got a guide to vernal pools, trees and shrubs, ferns. Sometimes we'll use a Secchi dish for figuring if open water's been disturbed, so you can sort of get a sense of how much suspended solids is in the water, and you can look at that over time. And obviously my camera.
And obviously, just to remind residents, as a safety concern, always make sure that anyone representing themselves as an official from the town is properly credentialed. Everyone should have an ID or some kind of identifying information.
Yep. All the inspectional
people, anyone representing the town of Hopkinton will always have proper credentials. And if you have any questions or concerns at all about anyone doing work or coming on your property, don't hesitate to call the town hall and confirm and get some more information, and always just be safe.
If you see a guy walking around in the woods, it's probably me or one of the other conservation staff.
Yeah. So I know some of the work we've done together, because we've, in the last year or so, launched kind of a basic GIS and done some mapping.
Fantastic.
And there's a lot of work still to do, and land use and permitting and GIS is always one of the messiest, most difficult.
Every time I'm asked you guys for a layer, it's generated. I get it.
Yeah, but it's really cool just taking a lot of information and you're flagging and a lot of the things that used to be done manually and starting to create those layers. And as we go forward, and we're also fortunate enough that because of the huge amount of work in digitizing maps and creating layers and databases, et cetera, we were fortunate enough to be able to create a GIS position this year that will be starting in January, so that information on wetlands or vernal pools or other information will be available to the public on our GIS website. And already, if you haven't checked it out, if you can click the map link on the town website, lots of different layers, lots of state maps and other information already available that can help kind of plan.
It's all there for your reference.
Yeah. And one of the last things I know that we're looking at this year is just really improving, and I don't know what it is about the permitting and land use that makes it's such a messy process.
It's
that's
complex.
Hard to get
Yeah, exactly.
We've done, if you look at other areas in municipal government, the financial systems are pretty wrapped up, the public safety systems are pretty wrapped up, and a lot of the systems, but maybe we can talk a little bit about sort of how permitting works in land use and conservation specifically, and some of the changes with the state now coming out with different mandates where, before a lot of the towns kind of had their own ways of doing things. So there's kind of state permits around conservation,
right?
That are.
Yeah, I mean, basically the state law came out in the early '70s, so everything was, and there were conservation commissions before that. The conservation commissions were organized in the '60s, and then when the wetlands laws came out in the '70s, the state said, "All right, let's create a state wetland law, and we'll have the towns, deal with it."
Right.
So it fell in the conservation commission's lap, and then in the mid '90s, the town decided to enact a wetlands bylaw. So it was just another layer of protection that obviously had to get addressed in how are we going to administer it.
Right.
So it is very, very complex, and that's why I thought when I first came on, 13 years ago, I'll read the laws and then I'll know it, and then I won't have to crack those books open.
Right.
Those books are well worn because I'm going into constantly, because every job is unique, and you have to figure out, well, how does your specific job and the lay of your land fall in line with all the different categories that are inherent to the wetlands law. So I'm constantly cracking the book, going, all right, how does this apply to this? So even for me, it's complex. I can see the homeowner who has no idea. It's
right.
just like in the stratosphere.
Well, and just trying, because Hopkinton has our own permits and there are state permits, and just. What's an example of a permit, let's say, that a homeowner or a resident or somebody might apply for? Maybe we can kind of walk through the permitting process.
Well, I gave you the example of the gentleman earlier, and the commission basically has 4 types of different applications. One, if they're just trying to figure out where the wetlands are, and a lot of developers will first do that. It's an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. So they're trying to map out, okay, this is where the wetlands are. This is where the jurisdiction of the commission ends, and it helps them plan where they're going to develop. And then if they realize, well, I need to go into the commission's jurisdiction. If it's undeveloped land, you typically have to file a notice of intent to go into the buffer zone, or if you got to cross a wetland to get to the uplands where you want to build. So they will submit. They will put together an application, and we've got all the information online that you've set up for us, and there's a checklist. The commission tries to gather as much information as they can, so the applicant can come in, present it. The commission can hopefully have enough information to make a determination in one hearing, and then from there they give them the permit. And when they complete the work, they would and that permit gets recorded at the registry of deeds for against the land, and then when the job is done, they would apply for a certificate of compliance to show that it's resolved.
I think the thing that impresses me is as complex as the process is, and I think the advice I'd give to homeowners, if you have any questions or want help at all with the process, reach out and talk to somebody.
That's what we hear. That's why we have we've got myself, conservation administrator. We've got a conservation scientist. We've got an administrative assistant. So we're here for the public and to interact on a...
Because if somebody has a permit application or something, I know you'd be more than happy to sit, help them fill it out, and go over it with them, answer questions.
That's part of my role is to, especially for the homeowners. A lot of times the developers are hiring their own consultants to walk them through that but a homeowner, a lot of times, especially if it's a small project, like the gentleman was just going to put a small addition off his garage, he's going to build a little workshop. No, I can work hand in hand with him, trying to get him to get his application ready for the commission's review. That's what they encourage me to do.
Right. Yeah. So definitely, there's lots of great information online, and we continue to improve it. But sometimes there's just no replacement for talking to somebody who knows. I
can talk on the phone. We can do it by email. You can come in. A lot of times I'm handing them the stuff. Look at it at home. Look at it over the weekend, and then by then they might just have a few pointed questions, and we can sit down at the table just like this and iron out the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, I know land use and the town generally is gearing up, so we're updating the master plan process a little bit. I don't know if you guys are involved with the Conservation Committee.
Well, I know a lot of times Elaine is usually the lead on those, and she will reach out to the different departments and look for feedback from us. So, yep, that's definitely, we're always, she's constantly asking us, all right, give me some comments on this.
But we mentioned we have the Mind Mixer tool on the website, but also the town is beginning to hold some visioning. They already had one visioning workshop, and they're having another one in September of 2014 to start getting ideas from the public about the values around open space and town buildings and growth in the downtown. And it's really an opportunity for everyone to kind of weigh in on what the future of Hopkinton looks like and what the values and priorities are.
And what they want.
What they want, yeah.
Exactly. So a lot of it is driven by the people who live in town. What are you looking for your town? And that's the whole driving force for the master plan.
So it's an exciting opportunity. So definitely, if you're interested at all in any aspect of government, conservation, development, land use, open space, education, technology, public safety, public works. Definitely get involved, at least on the online forums, the social media. Reach out to us with email or a phone call. But definitely come to some of the visioning workshops. Some of the open hearings, and you can have a voice in the master planning process that really shapes the future of Hopkinton.
Definitely.
So. All right, Don. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks again for inviting me.
Any final words, or?
We're here full time for you.
So again, on Manager's Corner, we like to remind people, there are real people working at Town Hall. Interesting stories, people who care about what they do, and for the most part, want to help help you get what you need out of your local government. And all kinds of interesting people and stories. So let us know what you'd like to see on this show. We'll keep bringing you interesting people and stories and information about your local government. Follow us online, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, MindMixer, and until next time, I'm Chris McClure for Manager's Corner. Thank you.
Yes, we're HCAM-TV, but movies also. Dive-In Drive-In is a new program featuring the HCAM staff's favorite B-movies. Check our schedule at hcam.tv for the next showing of some of the more forgotten films. Black and white or color, join Mike Terosian and myself as we introduce and give you some interesting facts about the cast and crews of classic movies. We hope you'll enjoy these treasured films of yesteryear.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Peralt, co-producer of Wake Up and Smell the Poetry, an HCAM series honoring poetry, story, and song that takes place on the third Saturday each month before a live audience. Guest features share their art, followed by an open mic with people who come from near and far. Others come to listen and be part of this warm and welcoming studio and to wake up a bit to arts and to life. You're welcome to join us and to tune in or visit our website for our weekly program. Hope you can join us. Hi, I'm Cheryl Peralt, host of the program Meet Your Neighbor on HCAM-TV. This show introduces you to Hopkinton residents, the many interesting people who are our neighbors, and we invite them to share stories, experiences, insights, and observations from their lives. We'd like to hear who you think should be interviewed on our program. So if you know someone that Hopkinton should get to know more about, please email me, and stay tuned for more episodes of Meet Your Neighbor on HCAM-TV.
HCAM-TV showing movies?
That's right. Dive-In Drive-In's a new show on HCAM.
Join Mike and I as we present some B-movies.
Movies that have piqued the two Mike's interest.
And not to mention, they're also free.
We'll give you some interesting tidbits about the cast and crews.
And point out some of the reasons these are classic B films.
So check out the HCAM-TV website at hcam.tv for movie names and showtimes.
You're on public property. By law, minors aren't allowed to smoke in public. You're going to notify your parents. Some education material to inform you of being harmed.